I start charging her late charges for late payments.
If you're taking me to court, you
And then
can't
I
do
also,
that.
I'm talking right now.
Yeah, no, okay. Now calling case number 24C1007. This is Gloria Pearson versus Rebecca Jean Johnson. Can I have names for the record, please? You will need to unmute.
Rebecca Jean Johnson.
Gloria Pearson, plaintiff.
Thank you very much. So today is the date and time set for a discovery hearing in this matter. So parties were before me in a small claims hearing back in April. What was that? April 25th. And
Correct.
consent judgment was entered. There were to be installment payments of $380.67 per month beginning May 1st.
Correct.
And I believe this was all filed because Ms. Pearson, you were stating that Ms. Johnson did not adhere to the agreed upon payment plan.
Correct.
Okay. Have the two of you had a chance to have a conversation about this?
No, I blocked her because she harassed me.
At this point, I don't feel like we can have any communication. Rebecca has proven to be someone who is proven to be credible.
Okay, so we're not getting into saying anything about each other at this point. Okay.
Okay, fine.
What I'm going to do, if the parties are not able to communicate or exchange information with each other at this time, impression that I am getting, then your next hearing date will be set in front of the judge.
Perfect.
So, okay.
How do I submit my evidence?
So you can call the 14B district court and speak with the civil clerks. Okay. You can also go on the website. The email addresses for the civil clerks are there.
Okay.
But I might suggest calling first.
Okay.
So, okay, then the court date in front of the judge is going to be July 25th.
Okay, perfect.
That will be.
Do we have a time?
Yes, 2 p.m. over Zoom.
2 p.m. you said?
Then anything else from either of you?
Yes, I would like to know, how do I start charging her late charges for late payments?
If you're taking me to court, you
And
can't
then I
do
also,
that.
I'm talking right now.
Yeah, no, okay. So we're not going to do this. Okay, this is not going to happen right now. The court can also not give you any legal advice. So I would suggest that the two of you should consider consulting with counsel at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Okay, thank you. And both of you are free to sign out of Zoom.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Now calling case number 24S4384132. This is the state of Michigan versus Kieran Tyshawn Zerker. Appearances for the record, please, starting with the trooper.
Trooper Ryan, Michigan State Police Pride Post. Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, good morning. Thank you. And Mr. Zerker, can you please unmute and state your name for the record?
Kieran Zerker.
Thank you very much. So today is the date and time set for an informal hearing in this matter. What I have is a citation that charges that on or about May 26th of 2024, you did operate a motor vehicle on eastbound I-94 at or near South Huron Street in violation of the basic speed law, going too fast. This is a civil infraction, so there's no criminal penalty associated with this, no jail time, no probation. Do you understand all that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Before we get started, Trooper Ryan, was there anything that you wanted to say?
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking to make a motion to amend this to impeding traffic with double parking.
Okay, so Mr. Zerker, the officer is offering to amend the citation from one of violating the basic speed law. That is a citation that carries a fine of $130 and 2 points from the Secretary of State. He's offering to amend that to impeding traffic, which is still a civil infraction, but it does not get reported to the Secretary of State. There are no points associated with it. The fine, however, is $180. So, do you wish to accept the officer's offer?
If I were
And
to
I-
accept it, it would just be a fine, but it wouldn't affect my CDL or any points or anything like that on my license. It would just be the ticket, just to pay the ticket.
It would be the ticket. Did you say you have a CDL?
I do.
It's not marked on here. Okay. Did you just get the CDL?
No, I've had the CDL for since January, at the start of the year, January. So I would say about 6 months.
So, unfortunately, with the CDL, my understanding is that the citation cannot be amended because that would be considered masking the citation. Trooper Ryan?
Ma'am, I just ran his driver's license in our system and it shows he has an operator's license. But with the CDL's intrastate only.
Okay. Okay. So then in that case, I am assuming that that would not have the effect of masking the.
When you say masking, are you talking about the box checked on the top of the citation saying operator
So
license?
yes. So it's marked as an operator's license. My understanding with CDLs is that you can't really amend the citation because that would be considered masking the violation. But if you're saying that that is not the case based on what type of license he has.
So I'm not sure about the masking thing. I never had this issue. I would assume that the citation would
I
have
hear one
also been
upstairs.
proper if it was an operator.
Is it?
But because it is in the system as an operator, then I don't think that I checked the box incorrectly. But I'm not sure about the masking issue.
Unfortunately, neither am I. So you said it was intrastate?
Correct. So it's only in Michigan is where the CDL is valid at.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure I can grant the motion to amend the citation if he's got a CDL at all.
Okay.
So we've got, well, basically, okay, sir. So the issue with the CDL, with having a commercial license, is that if the citation is amended to something else, then that can be considered masking what you were actually cited for. And there are penalties against doing that with a commercial driver's license. So you have basically three options then when it comes to this ticket. You can accept responsibility for being in violation of the basic speed law. Basically pay the ticket. It's $130 and 2 points on your license. You can accept responsibility with an explanation so the court can potentially lessen or eliminate the fine, but the court does not have control over the points. Or you can deny responsibility, that is basically deny that you were in violation of the basic speed law. And we can have the informal hearing. The court will swear in both sides, take testimony, and make a decision based on preponderance of the evidence, which is a 49 to 51% standard. So, do you understand your options?
It's
Okay. And which one do you want to go with?
I was gonna go with deny responsibility.
Okay, you are going to, okay. So, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Trooper Ryan
I do.
and Mr. Zerker.
I do.
Okay, thank you. So, at this time, the court will take testimony from both sides. I'm going to start with Trooper Ryan because he is the plaintiff. He is the officer in charge of issuing the citation. Okay, he'll give his side of the story. You are not to interrupt him. After he is finished, then it will be your turn, and he won't interrupt you either. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. If it's okay with you, since you have a decent amount of background noise, I am going to keep you muted for now. Okay, thank you. Okay, so Trooper Ryan.
Sworn ma'am, Trooper Ryan, Michigan State Police, Brighton Post on the 26th of May, 2024. At approximately 7:47 p.m., I was dispatched to a traffic crash in the area of eastbound I-94 near South Huron Street in Ypsilanti Township. When I made the scene, I ended up contacting the drivers of two vehicles. One of the vehicles was a white Chevy Malibu driven by Mr. Zerker, who is present today. The other vehicle was a gray Ford Explorer. I ended up interviewing both drivers and determined that the Ford Explorer was in the left lane and traveling in a path in the left lane. The white Malibu attempted to change lanes from the middle lane to the right lane, anticipation to get off at Huron Street. When it ended up losing control on the wet roads, and crashing into the gray Ford Explorer. At the time of the crash, the weather was cloudy, it was raining, the roads were wet, there was light traffic, and it was a divided highway as well. I issued Mr. Zerker a citation for violation of the basic speed law. Also, I issued him a warning for no operator's license on this person, as well as confirm his identity through our SNAP program online, but not his driver's license. We didn't have it on his person at that time.
Okay. Does that conclude your testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Zerker, you can unmute.
I'll tell my side of the story.
Yes.
Okay. I was on my way to work and I was on the highway. I forgot my license at work. I understand that. I wasn't changing lanes to get off the highway. I was changing lanes earlier because I was going to merge onto the shoulder because I felt very uncomfortable with the current road conditions. And I was going to take a rest and stop because I realized beforehand that my car was doing a lot of swing and it made me very uncomfortable. I know the not recommended. I do know the speed limit for wet roads is you reduce it to 1/3, which is around 47. Before I ended up getting over, I had my speed reduced to 50. I do remember that as I took a look at the speedometer. And that was before I slid out. I did not have my foot on the gas. So knowing that it was a minute, or it was a couple seconds after before I slid, I know that my car was for sure going definitely a reasonable speed for the road conditions. I had lost control. I knew what to do. I knew to not brake and to counter steer, as that's what I attempted to do. But it just wasn't enough because the person in the left lane who was going faster than me managed to catch up. And when I slid, I'd hit her. Should I mute or should I stay unmuted?
So long as you don't have a ton of background noise, which you currently don't, that is fine. So the vehicle that you collided with was to your left.
Yes, it was.
So going off of MCL 257.627, an individual operating a vehicle on a highway shall operate that vehicle at a careful and prudent speed, not greater than nor less than is reasonable and proper, having due regard to the traffic, surface, and width of the highway, and of any other condition existing at the time. An individual shall not operate a vehicle on a highway at a speed greater than that which will permit a stop within the assured clear distance ahead. A violation of this subsection shall be known and may be referred to as a violation of the basic speed law. You say you were slowing down to pull over to the side of the road and you spun out.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Yeah, I was slowing down to merge onto the shoulder. I did not have my foot on the brake though. I just really soft accelerator.
Trooper Ryan, do you have anything to add? Trooper Ryan, do you have anything to add?
I do not, ma'am.
You did testify that you saw him moving over, like he was going to get off.
No, I did not see him. I responded to the scene after the fact, but he told me he was changing lanes from the center lane to the right lane.
Okay. Given the information and Mr. Zerker,
Yes.
based on the way that the law is written, it specifically says that you're not to operate at a speed greater than that which will permit a stop within the assured clear distance ahead. And as much as I may like to find some wiggle room there, I will say that the fact that you were going fast enough that your vehicle spun out while you were trying to get off the side of the road basically puts you in violation of the basic speed law. So the court is finding you responsible at this time, and you are sentenced to pay the $130 fine. So you may appeal my decision within the next 7 days. If you appeal my decision, it'll be heard by the judge.
Can you just repeat that to me one more time? I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I got a good understanding of that.
So the basic speed law is basically what it is, the way it was described to me as well, is that there are some days where just stepping outside of your front door can put you in violation of the basic speed law, depending on what the road conditions and everything else are. So basically you were going too fast. You were trying to slow down, but you spun out. So that basically puts you in violation of the basic speed law. Okay. As I said, you can appeal the court's decision within the next 7 days, and it can be heard by the judge.
Okay.
Okay. But this hearing is concluded, and everyone is free to sign out of Zoom. Trooper Ryan, I think this was your only one with us this morning.
I do have a question. How do I go about appealing it?
So you would submit something to the court in writing within the next 10 days. Okay. If you call the 14B district court, they'll tell you if there's a form. I'm not sure. There may be a specific form. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Case numbers 22E000098A and B. These are the Township of Ypsilanti versus Terry Levon Williams. Appearances for the record, please.
Ashley Moten, Assistant Public Defender, here on behalf of Mr. Williams. State your name, sir.
Terry Williams.
So what I am seeing is a citation dated February 24th of 2022 that charges that on or about that date you did operate a motor vehicle on Washtenaw Avenue at or near Hewitt Road while your license was expired or canceled. That is a misdemeanor with a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail, a $500 fine with court costs, or both. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. The same citation charged that at the same date, time, and location, you failed to stop within an assured clear distance, causing an accident. That is a civil infraction. There is no criminal penalty associated with that. No jail time, no probation. Okay. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Did you have a chance to review an advice of rights form?
No.
Okay. You have the following basic rights in regards to the misdemeanor charge. You have the right to remain silent because anything that you say, whether out loud or in writing, can be used against you in court. You have the right to be presumed innocent beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a trial by judge or by jury, and you have the right to be represented during all stages of these court proceedings, that is before, during, and after trial. So, and the public defender is obviously here to represent you, at least for the purposes of this arraignment today. Do you understand all of your rights?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then Attorney Moten, do you wish to address the plea and the bond?
Yes, we have to enter a not guilty plea. We stand mute to the charges. Regarding the bond, I spoke with Mr. Williams regarding his failure to appear last month. He lets me know that he wasn't aware of the show cause hearing. He actually has been homeless, so he doesn't receive mail at the address that we found in the system. And I don't have a copy of the show cause, so I'm not sure if that's because of failure to pay, but due to the circumstances, that's also why he wouldn't be able to pay. He did provide an address for the shelter that he's been staying in, so he will be able to find, to receive mail there. So he is aware that he will have a subsequent court case, a court hearing, and he'll be able to appear at that point. So I would like to request a personal bond, but I also saw that there was a friend of the court case, and I'm not sure if that is going to hold him in custody. So if that's going to hold him, then I would ask for a very low cash bond to allow him to get jail credit, but otherwise we would ask for a personal bond.
So at this time, the court will set a So it's going to be a pre-trial on July 24th, 2024. That will be at 9 a.m. over Zoom before Judge Washington. And please note that if you fail to appear, then a bench warrant may issue for your arrest again.
Okay, can you repeat that date one more time?
July 24th.
Okay,
That's a Wednesday.
okay, July 24th, 9 a.m.
Yes.
Okay,
So I am seeing that you're signed up for text message reminders. If your phone number has changed, then call the 14B District Court, update your phone number with us. Okay,
I
because
will.
you should also get paperwork prior to leaving the jail.
Okay,
Okay. Okay. Then the court will set a personal recognizance bond in this matter. All right.
okay,
And then the A ticket, which is the civil infraction ticket, that's going to be set for a show cause hearing the same date and time. So
Okay.
July 24th. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Then Attorney Moten, do you have anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Questions?
I'm all set to go?
You are. Yes. Your hearing is
Okay.
concluded. We can stand by.
All right, thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.
Okay. Now calling case number 23S00822. This is the State of Michigan versus Amanda Rochelle Stimmel. Appearances for the record, please.
Assistant Public Defender Sonia Chanot on behalf of Ms. Stimmel. Ma'am, please state your full name for the record.
Amanda Rochelle Stimmel.
Thank you.
Today is the date and time set for an arraignment in this matter. What I have is a misdemeanor complaint that charges that on or about November 20th of 2023 at 8813 Tamarack Lane, you did make an assault or an assault and battery upon Kevin Stimmel, a resident or former resident of your household or your spouse. This is otherwise known as domestic violence. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, ma'am.
That is a misdemeanor with a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail, a $500 fine with court costs, or both. Do you understand that? Okay, can you say that again? Sorry.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, did you have a chance to review an advice of rights form? Okay, you have the following basic rights. You have the right to remain silent because anything that you say, whether out loud or in writing, can be used against you in court. You have the right to be presumed innocent beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a trial by judge or by jury. And you have the right to be represented during all stages of these court proceedings, that is before, during, and after trial. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Attorney Chanel, do you wish to address the plea and the bond?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. We stand muted to the charges and regarding bond. My client is 42 years old. She is gainfully employed as administrative assistant. She is also a mother of 5 children whom she cares for full time. Your Honor, I did discuss this matter with my client, and she expressed that her and the alleged victim are married, but have been separated since last year. My client also explained that she previously filed a personal protection order against the alleged victim in November of 2023. However, I did explain the bond conditions to her and how not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this matter, neither go to the address listed on file. There are no holds on her record at this time. I do believe she will comply with the bond conditions going forward. I do believe she will appear for subsequent court hearings. Therefore, Your Honor, we are asking for a personal bond at this time. Thank you.
Attorney Chanel,
Yes.
do you know if your client is going back to the Macomb County Jail after this?
No, I don't think so, Your Honor. You said the Macomb County Jail? No, I don't think she. Let me check. No, I don't see any holds. I don't see any reason for her to.
And Ms. Stimmel, is the Troy address your address?
Yes, ma'am.
So at this time, the court will set the date for your pretrial as July 8th, 2024. That will be at 9 a.m. over Zoom before Judge Washington, and the court will set bond with the following conditions. You are not to use or possess alcohol, marijuana, or illegal drugs. Within 24 hours of your release, you are to report to Community Corrections for drug and alcohol testing. You will need $12 and a photo ID. You can also discuss with them arranging testing closer to where you live.
Yes, ma'am.
You are not to purchase or possess firearms, ammunition, or other dangerous weapons. You are not to have contact with Kevin Stimmel. And when the court says no contact, what the court means is no in-person contact, no contact over the phone, via phone calls, text messages, emails, social media, the internet in any way, shape, or form. Also, no contact through third parties or through the mail. You are not to go to the Tamarack Lane address. When the court says do not go, the court does not care if you are personally invited to return to that address. You do not go. If you have anything that you absolutely need to collect from that address, you may do so on a civil standby. That is, go to the police station and request a police escort to and from the property. Okay. You are not to leave the state of Michigan without the court's permission. You are not to engage in any sort of assaultive, threatening, terrorizing, harassing, molesting, or stalking behaviors towards Kevin Stimmel or anyone else. You are not to engage in any sort of criminal activity whatsoever. And you are to appear for any and all dates set for you by the court, the next one in this matter being that July 8th court date. That also means going to Community Corrections within 24 hours of your release.
Yes,
These
ma'am.
bond conditions will be entered into the Law Enforcement Information Network, so they will be readily accessible to any police officers you may come into contact with. And if they have probable cause to believe that you have violated one of these conditions, they can arrest you on the spot, and you'll be held for a bond violation hearing in front of the judge, who may revoke your bond and set a new, more restrictive one. Do you have any questions about any of that?
There's just one thing. I don't have my license with me. I don't know where my wallet is since I was taken into custody. I didn't have my wallet. So I may not have my ID. Could I use the jail ID in order to go to community corrections right when I leave?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
That will be all.
Okay. Attorney Chenault, do you have anything else?
No, nothing else.
Okay, then at this time, your hearing is concluded. You are free to stand up and tell the jail that you are finished.
Very quickly, Your Honor.
Yes, there's the bond, the matter of the bond. So
Thank
at
you.
this time, the court is setting a $15,000 personal recognizance bond. So you're not paying anything to get out, but if you fail to appear or if you violate any of the bond conditions, then your bond will start at $15,000.
Thank you.
Okay. 14B District Court is now in session. This is Magistrate Hillary Braley presiding. Now calling case number 24S00222. This is the State of Michigan versus Erin Elizabeth Daniker. Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor, and good afternoon. Assistant Public Defender Sonia Chenault on behalf of Erin Daniker, who is present via Zoom from the Washtenaw County Jail. Ma'am, can you state your full name for the record?
Erin Elizabeth Daniker.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Today is the date and time set for an arraignment in this matter. What I have is a misdemeanor complaint that charges that on or about June 19th, 2024 at 1769 Timber Ridge Drive, you did make an assault or an assault and battery upon Nikki Kolath, a resident or former resident of your household, and or an individual with whom you have or had a dating relationship. This is otherwise known as domestic violence. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor.
Thank you. That is a misdemeanor with a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail, a $500 fine with court costs, or both. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Then, did you have a chance to review an advice of rights form?
The sign you said?
To review it and to sign it, yes.
I think last night I signed something. I haven't signed anything today.
Okay, so you have the following basic rights. You have the right to remain silent because anything that you say, whether out loud or in writing, can be used against you. You have the right to be presumed innocent beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a trial by judge or by jury, and you have the right to be represented during all stages of these court proceedings before, during, and after trial. So the public defender is here today to represent you, at least for the purposes of this arraignment. So do you understand those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Then, Attorney Chenault, do you wish to address the plea and the bond?
Yes, Your Honor. We're going to ask the court to enter a non-guilty plea. Therefore, we stand muted to the charges. Regarding bond, Your Honor, my client is 34 years old. She is gainfully employed at Carpenter Place. I did discuss this matter with her. I did explain the bond conditions to her and how not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this matter. I do believe my client will comply with the bond conditions going forward and appear for subsequent court hearings. There are no hold on her record at this time. Therefore, we are asking for a personal bond. Thank you.
So at this time, the court will set bond with the following conditions. You are not to use or possess alcohol, marijuana, or illegal drugs. Within 24 hours of your release, you are to report to community corrections for drug and alcohol testing. You will need $12 and a photo ID. Do you know where community corrections is located?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, it's basically straight up the hill from where you are right now. So
Okay.
it's kind of at the top of the hill. It's a brown building and it is labeled Re-Entry Center.
Okay.
The address is 4101 Washtenaw.
Okay.
Okay.
And sorry, do you know about how long it takes to do that? Because I have to go to work tomorrow. Is it like something I can do on my lunch, or would it be something to do after work?
I don't know. I believe they open at 8 a.m. and close at 4:30 in the afternoon. So
That's my shit. That's my perfect. Okay, I'll just call them and see what I can do then.
okay. You are not to purchase or possess firearms, ammunition, or other dangerous weapons. You are not to leave the state of Michigan without the court's permission. You are not to have contact with Nikki Kolath. And when the court says no contact, what the court means is no in-person contact, no contact through the mail, no contact over the phone via phone calls, text messages, emails, social media, the internet in any way, shape, or form, or through third parties. You are not to go to the 1769 Timber Ridge address. When the court says do not go, the court does not care if you are personally invited to return. You do not go. If you have anything that you absolutely need to pick up from that address, you may do so on a civil standby, which you set up with the police to be escorted to and from the property. You are not to engage in any sort of assaultive, threatening, harassing, terrorizing, molesting, stalking behavior towards Nikki Kolath or anyone else. You are not to engage in any sort of criminal activity whatsoever. And you are to appear for any and all dates set for you by the court. So that includes your pre-trial court date, which is being set for July 25th, 2024 at 9 a.m. over Zoom before Judge Washington. That also means going to community corrections within 24 hours of your release. These conditions will be entered into the Law Enforcement Information Network, so they will be readily accessible to any police officers that you may come into contact with. And if they have probable cause to believe that you have violated one of these conditions, you can be arrested on the spot and held for a bond violation hearing in front of the judge, who may revoke your bond and set a new, more restrictive one.
Okay.
You understand all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Attorney Chenault, do you have anything else?
No, nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Then at this time, the court will set a personal recognizance bond in this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Your hearing is concluded. You are free to stand up until the jail that you are finished.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too.
Now calling case number 24T00220. This is Ypsilanti Township versus Daniel Ramirez. Appearances for the record, please.
Assistant Public Defender Sonia Chenault on behalf of Mr. Ramirez. Mr. Ramirez, please state your full name for the record.
My name is Danny Ramirez Duque, and I am present.
Thank you.
Thank you. So today is the date and time set for an arraignment on a conditional bond violation. You were in front of me 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And as there were a number of conditions that I placed on your bond. And one of them was no contact with the victim in this case, and the other was not to go to a particular address. And my understanding, based on the police report that I have, is that upon your release from the Washtenaw County Jail, you immediately went back home, had contact with the victim at the address that you were not supposed to go to.
Yeah.
Your Honor, if I may.
You may.
Thank you so much. We stand muted to the charges and regarding bond. As the court just noted, I did discuss this matter with my client. He did explain that he did go back to the house, forgetting to request a civil standby, as I did explain to him previously. I did re-explain, Your Honor, all the bond conditions to my client and how not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case, and if he needed to return to the address, to do so on a civil standby. I do believe that he understands everything going forward, Judge. There are no holds on his record at this time. Therefore, we are asking the court to just continue the personal bond at this time. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ramirez. So the court's concern at this point misunderstandings do happen. But the concern for this court at this time is not just that you went back to the property. The police report that I have came about because the police were called to the property once again because of what was going on. So at this time, the court is going to change the date for your pretrial to Monday, that is June 24th, 2024. That will be at 10 a.m. over Zoom before Judge Washington. None of the bond conditions are changing at this time. You are not to go to that address except on a civil standby. You are not to have contact with the alleged victim in this matter, who I understand is your mother. Your alleged behavior is very concerning. Because of that, as stated, your bond violation hearing and pretrial have been moved up to this coming Monday, the 24th. And at this time, your bond is being set at $15,000. 10% is allowed. Your hearing is concluded. You are free to stand up and tell the jail that you are finished.
Have a seat right there.
You're all set.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Mhm.
Thank you.